Hello, welcome to this update for Oceania. So we have some big updates for the storm system heading towards New Zealand and some cyclones north of Australia. So we still have this cyclone 29 near northwestern Australia, but as of now it's not forecast to be an immediate threat. It will go out into the Indian Ocean. Some models do try to bring it back towards Western Australia, but still no immediate threat from this. And so there's the GFS, it goes into the Indian Ocean, but later does try to make a comeback there, but probably very weak. And there's this other feature just north of Australia that we have been watching. So this is Thursday, shows a low pressure in the Bay of Carpentaria, goes there. But the GFS, like, this is not even a tropical depression, so might bring more rain and storms there, but no immediate threat for Northern Australia. The European slightly stronger, so does form a low pressure between Australia and Indonesia. It goes there, and the European does have a 990 tropical storm near the Northern Territory in Queensland, and then does strengthen to like 983, the Bay of Carpentaria, goes towards northern Queensland. So the European definitely has something to watch, and it goes like straight into northern Queensland, and this will be around Saturday the 19th, and it might form around Thursday or even sooner. So that's the European. There's the Canadian too. It takes the cyclone out into the Indian Ocean, but it tries to linger near northwestern Australia, but it just goes away. But the Canadian does form a pretty formidable tropical storm near Queensland and the Northern Territory on April 19th, Saturday, and it does go into Queensland, but it keeps lingering there, eventually goes to the Northern Territory. So be aware in those areas in case this forms, but most models are very weak. There's the icon takes the first one into the Indian Ocean, but the icon brings it back to near northwestern Australia and just dissipates there. It forms another low pressure just north of Australia on the 15th, Tuesday, but it just kind of lingers there. It doesn't form into any cycle. So just the European and the Canadian are trying to form that one into a cyclone. There's the Nevjan as well. It does form that almost a tropical storm around Friday into the Northern Territory, and the Nevjan does bring the other one, the Indian Ocean, back towards northwestern Australia. And then it takes actually this one towards Queensland by Sunday on the 20th. So be aware if you are in Queensland or the Northern Territory, the potential for this storm. But the potential is not that high anymore, but just be aware those areas. For example, the European that still shows a tropical storm there. So we'll keep watching, but be aware. And there's here like around Vanuatu, spots of New Caledonia, those areas, there's like this big area of tropical moisture, and the Samoa Islands, more those tropical downpours as well, Vanuatu and more spots there. So a lot of heavy rain still happening. There's the cell, like just a gigantic blob of storms. There's some intense ones near the Solomon Islands now, so be careful. Some showers near Fiji, but this is just a very big area of storms. And guess where this is going to go? It will keep lingering there, shows more storms around Fiji, spots of Vanuatu, but then it will go towards New Zealand by Wednesday and Thursday. It might leave some rough wind and storms at Burnt Pine. Be aware, Wednesday, if you are there on the 16th, but Wednesday and Thursday shows some deeper cyclogenesis in this low pressure, and then by Thursday the 17th show like this big low pressure there, like 979 millibars on the European model. This goes might leave some big storms around spots in New Zealand and more rain as well. So this goes and still shows rain and storms Sunday, Monday, and still some next weekend. So be careful. That's the European. There's the GFS here to show like Monday, 2 days, some snow in the mountains there. But then it brings this enormous system Wednesday. So this still like Wednesday into Thursday shows a lot of rain there, not the way to 976 millibars low pressure there in the ocean. So this front here might bring some very rough weather Wednesday and Thursday towards northern New Zealand. So be careful those areas for rain. Shows like 5 days might be heavier near Vanuatu. Some spots are even to 95 millimeters. Spots just north of Vanuatu, like Mua, North Islands there, 215. More islands further north, Lata, more areas. So be careful if you're in those areas. The Samoa Islands, like Samoa 5, Samoa 9, even to 100 millimeters in a few spots there, 105, 110 in some small islands. So be careful in those areas, especially the Samoa Islands, spots of eastern Vanuatu, and even Fiji, especially like central western Fiji, some more storms. So stay safe. Might be more storms in New Caledonia too. But as this gets towards New Zealand, already shows some areas in Northern Ireland to 113 millimeters, further northeast even to 158 and 117 until Friday. So please be careful. Shows 67 in Auckland, but might be strong. Shows more further north in the northernmost areas, even to 128 millimeters, 112. So stay safe in those areas. Be careful more in the South Island, some 70, 60 millimeters, and be aware especially those areas, the North Island. And if I put until the 21st, shows even more. So this is 7 days out. Shows even the South Island to 245 millimeters. 5 days was 45 millimeters. And 7 days all the way to 245. So the Europeans very on to something in that 5 to 7 day period. And then shows even more spots of the North Island to 209, 213, more spots there in the North Island. So please be careful, some flooding potential, and by 7 days shows some more around Fiji, southern Tonga is even more than 100, and even more in these tropical islands there. So stay safe, be careful, and there's like the GFS too, shows a similar thing in New Zealand until Friday, like even to 154 millimeters, some isolated spots, and northeasternmost areas to 125. So please be careful. 132 to 141 in some northern areas, and it has even to 91 millimeters in Auckland. The icon's kind of different, it has just 50 there in Auckland, but it has some other spots to 170, 165 northern New Zealand, and some more further south in New Zealand. So please be aware, and shows some more around those islands, Vanuatu, especially in the seas, the Solomon Islands. It even has one spot of the Solomon Islands to 209. Some areas are 211, so stay safe in those areas. The access has even like to 162 in Lata, 186 in some smaller islands. In the Solomon Islands, the access is like to 222, 278 in Bonala, some other islands to 244. So please be careful. Some flooding storms the Samoa Islands. And until Friday, the excess like 202, northern parts of the South Island, in New Zealand, more spots there. And it has like the Northern Island all the way to 266 millimeters, the excess. The excess like in Auckland to 136. So this is a possibility, but the excess sometimes exaggerates a little bit, but that's a possibility too. Please be careful. And further north in New Zealand, even to 235 in some other areas, the excess. So please be careful. Those areas, burnt pine, might be some rough weather as well. So please stay safe. There's the icon here, shows that blob of storms in those areas. Then Sunday, Monday, they slowly starts coming down. Tuesday, and shows Wednesday there the low pressure getting stronger, and like the icon is a enormous like 975 low pressure. You can clearly see the shape of this strong cyclogenesis. It shows Wednesday, Thursday, this powerful front in New Zealand with a lot of storms and wind. So please stay safe. There's the access choose as Sunday, Monday. It has around Tuesday, Wednesday, burnt pie, spots of Fiji, some more storms there too. Especially Thursday, it has this heavy rain in New Zealand. Thursday, Friday still has, and the low pressure itself might get closer around Friday, Saturday. So yeah, please be careful those areas. And here shows like that's rain. So for wind now, today is like it's already Monday there, probably shows some gusty winds southern New Zealand because of a small front Sunday. So later today, Monday and Tuesday, shows some more wind nearby New Zealand in the ocean. Maybe Tuesday, spots near the North and South Island, some winds there in the ocean, and the winds are picking up with this system coming Tuesday into Wednesday. So this goes, does show burnt pine even to 76 km per gust. Tuesday shows in spots of the sea near New Zealand already gusty, especially northern half of New Zealand. So Tuesday, Wednesday shows momentarily even 90 km per gust in burnt pine. That's very strong. So be careful. Wednesday, this gets closer. About Wednesday night, shows the northern tip of New Zealand to 123 km per gust. Further south, 100, some 82, some 83. So please be careful. Then this goes Thursday morning, shows like more spots in the north, more than 100 km per gust, 75 in Auckland, some 84. So this goes, and that shows some moments higher, some spots 94, 97. This shows even to 102, some 86. So Thursday this goes and still shows later Thursday night into Friday some spots in the North and South Island and Central North Island. So please be careful. Thursday, Friday, the low pressure is more in the ocean by Saturday, but still shows some wind in some areas Saturday. This goes, and the low pressure itself gets closer by Monday, and still some wind in the North Island, those areas. So be careful. Still around next Tuesday, the 22nd, still shows some wind, and that goes. So please be careful those areas. That's the European model. There's the GFS as well, shows around Wednesday, but this Wednesday night shows in northern areas more than 100 km per gust already, and already some 83 in Auckland, more spots, and later. Does shows some spots northern New Zealand like 128 km per gust, 130, the GFS 117, some 89, in Auckland some 99, 101. So please stay safe. Wednesday this goes, the GFS even gets to 97 in Auckland, close to 100, and then this goes there. Still shows Thursday many spots of the North Island, and this goes. So please stay safe. There's the icon. The icon is very precise, shows specific spots, and some most times it exaggerates, but most of the times it's accurate. So let's see, Sunday, Monday shows some wind. Monday night near both islands, and then Tuesday shows already the winds picking up in the ocean. Some spots Tuesday, especially like Tuesday night into Wednesday, shows even in the North Island there are slightly higher gusts, especially in the ocean. And then in Bird Pine already shows some higher gusts by Wednesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, this comes, shows in the northern point of the South Island some higher gusts. In the North Island are to 97 km per gust. So this goes until Thursday, shows some spots there to like 111 km per gust, 71. So this goes, and the low pressure keeps spinning there. This is already Sunday, and still shows the low pressure spinning. So this is about like Monday, right? The 21st, still shows more than 100 km per gust spots of central New Zealand. So please stay safe, be careful. There's the access to show like even today, Monday, some above average wind gusts near the seas in Queensland. The surf might be slightly higher, and then shows already Tuesday, Wednesdays, some higher gusts near southern Vanuatu and more spots in Fiji. So be aware to some small craft. And then show like Wednesday in Burnt Pine, it does have some high gusts. 74 is pretty high, but it doesn't have the worst right over it. It has further east, but it already has by Wednesday night close to 4 km per gust in New Zealand, even some spots to 96 this area of the northern South Island. So be careful. So this goes Wednesday, and the access has like Wednesday night, in the middle of the night until Thursday. This about Thursday morning. It has all the way to 123 km per gust. Northern New Zealand has some more spots in the north, more than 100. So Wednesday, Thursday, the access has like 104 km per gust in Auckland, more spots to 106, 108 Thursday, and then shows still northern South Island, most spots of the North Island, some higher gusts Thursday night to Friday, and still shows the low pressure spinning there around Friday, Saturday, still shows some gusty winds, some spots Saturday and Sunday still, and then yeah. And the access does have on Tuesday, the 22nd in the morning, this crossing over the two islands, some higher gusts. So we'll keep watching that, and it gets all the way to like 127 km per gust. But that's more than a week out. We can't know much about that yet. But please be careful those areas, and shows here like as this develops some much higher waves as well. The Europeans all the way to 7 meters, 6 meters, and then still shows around Friday, Thursday, some spots to 4 meters. So be careful in those areas. And yeah, for rain in Australia, next 5 days until Friday the 18th, the European does have this system forming near the Northern Territory more than 100 meters, even to like 518 meters, 543, some 552, and does have more into northeastern parts of Northern Territory to 400, 300, 200, some spots there, and does have northwestern Australia a few storms as well. So be careful. If I put until the 23rd, like 9 days, it does show this coming to Queensland with more than 200 millimeters. And next 9 days in total shows central areas very dry and more fronts in the southwest and the southeast to monitor as well. So please be aware. But the GFS barely has any cyclone here, has very weak, so it has just 68 millimeters, the GFS. The Europeans like close to 400 there, the GFS just 68, but it does have further north into the ocean more than 200 in those small islands, and it does have northernmost Queensland like close to 200 millimeters, some areas northernmost Queensland, so be careful in Queensland there. But if I put like 10 days out, the GFS is more in northern Queensland and some more spots western northern Australia. But the GFS barely has anything going to Queensland or like the European had. So be aware, especially in the tropical areas, because even the European 5 days has more than 100 millimeters northernmost Queensland. So be careful. There's the icon. 5 days shows more near the coast of Queensland a little bit, and some more in the Northern Territory to like 73 millimeters. But the icon also doesn't form that into a cyclone as I showed you before, so it doesn't have as much as the European. The icon does have more in the southwest, like 223, some 85 millimeters. So be careful, some fronts, some nastier storms there. And there's the axis too. The axis has some more storms near northwest and most Australia, some 115, 119 millimeters, but the worst is in the ocean there. And but the axis does have these southernmost islands of Indonesia to 200 millimeters, 317, some more islands to 283. So if you're watching from there, please be careful. Some 146 millimeters and more on those islands, and especially like some other parts of Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, those tropical downpours. So stay safe in Sumatra, still close to 200, 160, still shows Central Malaysia to 185, the access, so stay safe there, be careful. And it also has like 5 days this front in southwestern Australia, so some 42 millimeters, 36, maybe some storms too, so be aware. For the cyclone, it does show that one goes into the Indian Ocean, and the axis is bringing more into Indonesia there. That might or might not happen, but just be aware, Indonesia, in case it happens. Then it tries to form something near northern Australia, but the axis barely forms anything there, and it does a weird thing. It brings this one back east into the Northern Territory, but we'll keep watching. And then Sunday, Monday still has a lot of tropical moisture, but barely has anything else in terms of cyclone. So be aware those areas, especially the rain and everything. So now Monday shows those storms southwestern Australia because of that front, and maybe Thursday a few storms Thursday, and then further Friday spots of South Australia, maybe Victoria, especially in Easter around Sunday and Monday, especially Monday on the 21st, southeastern Australia shows some more possibly, but that might change still. But be aware, those areas, and still shows like French Polynesia next 5 days, spots like 114 millimeters, 71 millimeters, and more spots near Matarura and Adamstown, so 9 millimeters, 8 millimeters, but more around Papeete, and these are central to southern French Polynesia. And some tiny atolls there to like 140 millimeters. But central areas are around some 82 millimeters next 5 days. So be aware, Samoa is quite fine, some tropical showers, a few thunderstorms passing by. But Tuvalu, more spots there, might have some more activity, some more showers. These areas around Pu'u, Palau might have more storms, especially around Pu'u, Palau, some 19 millimeters, and shows more around southern Philippines, northern Philippines, a few thunderstorms as well, and more around Southeast Asia, especially Bangladesh, the European, southeastern India, and Malaysia, as I showed you, in Indonesia, those spots in Sulawesi, central Indonesia, might get some higher amounts. So stay safe there, and yeah, for snow here, does show in New Zealand until Friday, some snow in those southern mountains, but not that much. Shows like some 14 centimeters, 13 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 3 centimeters. Shows some mountains further south to 8 centimeters, but nothing that crazy. But be aware as well, there's the GFS, shows some areas to 13 centimeters, 16 centimeters, 14, 7 in Mount Cook, and more areas, so be aware. But the icon has even less there. There's the axis. The axis has actually more, around some 28 centimeters, those central mountains in New Zealand. So be aware in those areas. And in case you are in Antarctica, which I think you are not, a lot of snow near the Southern Ocean. And here shows like those storms. So this generally it. Those temperatures still milder to colder in southeastern Australia during the day, still kind of hot, some 37, 38 around Western Australia. South Australia still kind of summer-like, some 33, 34 degrees, but this is like much less than it was some months ago. That was like 40 and something. And then show like during the night, spots in Tasmania, 2 degrees, 10 degrees, some 12 degrees, and during the afternoon again, around Tuesday, still close to 40 degrees Western Australia. Be aware, but yeah, not as extreme as it was before, but 4 is still like very hot, so stay safe. Shows more around Northern Territory, 34, 35, might be cooler in the southwest as well and southeast, and then still some afternoons there, on the west above like 37, spots like Wednesday afternoon 39, and still close to 38, 40 degrees a few days. So be aware, this goes Thursday, Friday, and still during the night much cooler, even to 10 degrees, spots of southwestern Australia. On the east, some 14, 9 degrees, 16 degrees, and the north, even to like 20 degrees, but still tropical there. And during the day, still warm to hot, most of northwest and even central Australia. This area is Saturday and into next week. So stay safe. Those areas, those winds might be stronger if there are thunderstorms, but especially near the tropical areas. But be aware that the waves and wind near Vanuatu, Fiji, and New Caledonia, like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, that system goes towards New Zealand. But the European does form this tropical storm Thursday, like some 86 km/h Northern Territory. It does go there, generate some higher surf, and the European still has some higher gusts with this into Queensland, but we'll still be watching this. It does have now the European and the icon near northern Queensland, those slightly higher winds in the Coral Sea, and then Monday, Tuesday, nothing crazy. in Australia. Maybe those fronts further in the southwest sometimes slightly gustier, but nothing that crazy. And let's see, a place that's very gusty is the coast of Antarctica. Very gusty, but beware. So beware shows here at Monday, today, and Tuesday those waves to the east of Vanuatu because of those winds there. And yeah, so stay safe, and a few thunderstorms as well. Let's see if there are any different models here. There's like in this one for New Zealand, so there's the Southwest Pacific, the Canadian model too. It shows like that system there, the extra tropical cycle. It goes even to 972 millibars. That's very strong, and the front there towards New Zealand. So stay safe. The Canadian model has also like lower precipitation. I'll put it until Saturday. It shows close to 200 meters or more. Some spots northern New Zealand, even northern Australia, because the Canadian forms that storm as well, and in the tropics there. So stay safe. There's one hurricane model that showed an insane thing with this cyclone in the Indian Ocean near northwestern Australia. It was like category 5, and you're showing like even to 860 millibars or something. This model here is so crazy there in the Indian Ocean, but nothing to be concerned about. That won't happen close to land if it happens, which I don't think it will. So be aware. But just a general view here before we end this for the Indian Ocean. The European model does show like later some moisture around the central Indian Ocean there, near April 19th or something. But it doesn't form into anything, just goes there. But the GFS was interesting before. It shows like this area in the central Indian Ocean trying to form into something, and it dissipates. Maybe somewhere near Indonesia later. But beware, stay safe.